Christmas is my favorite time of year. It's filled with love, joy, it brings families together, and juicy teacher confessions. Hello, and welcome to Learn with Jess. I'm Jessica, and this is a brand new series on my channel. So let's jump into these teacher confessions that I was sent. Story number 1 is called Punish My Child. I was told by a parent that I had their permission to punish their child if they were not getting 100% on everything. Well, the student ended up getting some 80s, and the parent kept encouraging me to punish them. This continued for a while. So around Christmas, I told the student that if they did an extra assignment, I would change their grade. The student didn't end up doing it, but I changed the grade anyways and told the student it was my Christmas present. I did not want to deal with the mom over break. As a teacher, luckily I never had a parent encourage me to punish their child, but I completely agree with this teacher. I probably would have just been a little bit more lenient, and honestly, getting 80s isn't bad, but expecting a child to get 100%, that doesn't show any growth. So in this case, if the teacher wanted to enjoy their break, then go ahead and enjoy your break. Story number 2, the Christmas gift. One year, I had a student who would complain every single day during Read Out Loud. I asked politely for the student to stop, but that didn't work. Even giving a consequence did not work. It started to really get to me. Every year, I usually give my students a book for their Christmas present. The day of our classroom Christmas party came along, and I gave the same student my Read Out Loud book. I also wrote a note, "Since you love this book so much." The student was completely shocked. But I'm happy to report the student no longer complained after that. Dang, this teacher was not messing around. I don't know if I personally would handle it this way. I think there probably was another reason the student didn't like it, or maybe the student didn't like the book. I don't know. But I would want to send a book to the student that would encourage them to enjoy reading. Story number 3, the broken car. This was my 5th year teaching, and I was given a challenging class. They put all of the students in my class who had behavioral plans, and I was completely burnt out. It was the day before the Christmas break, and I could not get out of bed that day. I cried most of the night and just could not bring myself to go to work. So I called the principal 10 minutes before school and pretended that I was panicking. I told him that I had been trying to get my car started for over 45 minutes and I couldn't get into work. The school was about 30 minutes from my house, and I also told him if I got an Uber, it would just not be here in time. I apologized and said I was going to have my uncle come over and help me fix my car. I ended up going back to bed and enjoyed my Christmas break. So I know at my school or my district, if you wanted to take a day off before break, you had to get prior approval, like at least a couple weeks before. So I don't know if this teacher didn't get approval or what, but there is no reason for a teacher to be burnt out and crying. That's just not okay. And so if this teacher really just needed a mental health break, I think that's more healthy overall than pushing yourself into work. Story 4, the competition. At my school, our elementary teacher shared a break room. The week leading up to Christmas break, we all put the students' gifts in the same room. It was like this before I worked there, so I just followed along. Soon, it became a competition to see who had the most gifts. Well, I am very competitive, so I ended up buying myself gifts and putting them in my pile. I would purposely wait in the break room longer than normal just to see the jealousy on the other teachers' faces. The final day of school came, and I had the biggest pile. One teacher had the audacity to say to me,
"Teaching isn't about how many gifts you get around Christmas, but the joy you bring all year around."
I just shrugged and said,
"Very true. My students are so joyful in my classroom, they feel the need to bring me gifts as well."
The teacher didn't respond, and after that, I laughed to myself. This is an interesting story. So that's not how it worked at my school either. We did not put our gifts in a pile. My students just brought the gifts to my classroom, and then I took them home. I personally would not want to load out a huge pile of gifts into my car that I had bought myself. But to each their own. I saved the best for last. Story number 5, the awkward joke. I have always been somewhat awkward, which is why I always chose to dive into my art, and why I later became an art teacher. Well, one year I decided to join our annual Christmas party to get out of my comfort zone. Our principal dressed up as Santa as a joke, and I had thought of something funny in my head to say after a couple of drinks. So I walked over to the principal who was sitting down and said,
I have been a good girl this year. Can I sit on your lap?
At that moment, he looked completely mortified. I realized how awkward and inappropriate my comment was. I apologized and decided to leave the party early. After that, the principal completely brushed it off. I think we all make awkward jokes here and there, and it happens. I know at my school, our company Christmas parties were always really fun, and if somebody made an inappropriate joke, it wouldn't have been a big deal if it was by accident. So on this one, she should have just kind of let it go and realized it happens and we're all human and make mistakes. And that is the end of our teacher confessions. What did you guys think of these ones? I'd love to hear your input in your comments below. If you would like to share a confession with me, whether you're a teacher, a student, or have a dating confession or anything, in the description will be all the information for you to send to me so that I can read your confessions completely anonymously. If you want, you can put your location and age, or you don't even have to include that. I do ask that these are very short. If you have a special teacher in mind that you know and you're unsure of what gift to get them, please stay tuned for my video, Practical Teacher Gift Guide. I hope to see you in my next video, and I hope you have a beautiful holiday season. Bye.